My name is Ryan Brooks, and I have created the world's first fully functional Iron Man briefcase suit. It's inspired by Iron Man 2, which I saw back in May, and was very intrigued by that suit. I wanted to see, could I bring it into reality? Is it actually possible to compact an entire suit of armor into a standard briefcase size? So I've invested at this point about 900 hours into the design and building, and my initial design I built out of cardstock. It's basically very simple. If you've seen the original Iron Man briefcase in the comics or the cartoon, it's very linear, so the walls basically unfold and allow more panels to unfold continuously. These ones here open up to wrap around the legs. Same for the arms. And the head goes through there, that folds over. The helmet would be stored somewhere inside. So it's pretty primitive, but it did give me the basic layout for where pieces have to be attached, where they have to originate, and then where they have to end up. So how many different panels I'd have to unfold to cover my entire body. So I began by measuring all my dimensions and then getting some images from the movie and some concept art for the suit as well, and use those to bring into reality what I'm going to show you back here. So it's not complete yet, but the general design is finished, and so is much of the chassis of the suit, I'm calling it. So the armor is all complete as well. I haven't attached it yet, but I'm just going to give you a general demonstration of how this all unfolds. So this is the basic shape of the briefcase. Now, as you can see, it's not as clean yet as Iron Man's was in the movie. But basically, this here, well, this is the handle. So there's the half of it. The other half would go over here. This will unfold like so, and it'll be attached to a series of concentric semicircles that go all the way up and connect to here. So as you pull this back onto the floor, it'll unfold and become one of the boots. The handle folds back and goes onto the back. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that. And second, so this will also follow in suit, will unfold, becomes part of the pelvic armor. And what you can see over here is one of the arms. Now, it's not completely attached yet, so I can't demonstrate fully how it expands, but essentially I've got elastic strapping here attached to, and you'd probably notice the entire thing is basically constructed from Lego Technic pieces. So I ordered a whole bunch of these in bulk, and then I've configured the exact design that I need to fit to make the armor, and then painted it all silver. So basically the arm stretches out. This is the back side of the arm, and just like in the movie, the pieces of the red pieces of armor are going to be attached onto here, and they'll form around the arm. So I've added these gear mechanisms on the back side of each one. It took a long time to get that confined into that tiny space, but they're able to form and follow in suit as the arm wraps around. So the next step is there'll be gloves attached to the repulsors here, that when I pick up the entire suit, I'll be able to expand my arm out. I'll show you that in a second as well. So the next thing is the back here. Now the back comes from, I kept with that same design of putting the head through one section and having a piece fold over, but it's this entire thing flips over the back, and I'll hold it outward so you can see the whole thing here. It kind of fans out and wraps right underneath the arms and comes around to form part of the chest armor. So, and these here go around the ab section. So it's not very sturdy yet. There's a lot of magnets that have to be attached, and the armor will help keep that more stable as well. You can see the helmet. It's just the one piece of the helmet anyways. It's contained in the center there, and there'll be a hole right here with a fabric hood attached, and all of the pieces of the helmet are sewn onto, on the inside will be sewn onto the hood, that when I put my head through will pull up and form into the helmet right on top of the suit here. So that still has to be done. This here is a battery pack that will power the arc reactor, so the light in Iron Man's chest. And if I detach the arm here first, it's the same type of mechanism that I've got hooked up here, these LEDs, and basically this is, oh, it has a speaker as well, so it can make the same high-pitched sound that the repulsor makes. As I bend the arm back, there's potentiometers there that control the pitch and the brightness of the lights. And then on here, when you pick this up, you can pull these apart. And this is, again, this will be all attached so that when you pull this open, when you stretch the arms out, the arc reactor spot is open right there in the center. And the last thing was, how do I cover the entire abs? So this whole part expands out to form the abdomen as when I pull the suit up and stand up, hold on to it. So that's the main construction of the suit. There's still a little bit of work to do, but the function of it has been at least figured out, and there's a few hiccups along the way, but for the most part it's stayed pretty true to my original design from the cardstock. Very surprising turn of events here. I tried putting the batteries into the right hand repulsor. I tested it many times before, it worked fine, and I hadn't had it plugged into anything other than this. So when I put it in, smoke started coming out of one of the potentiometers. So my assumption is because I didn't have the ground plugged in to the microcontroller. I'm going to try it one more time with this, and maybe we'll see some smoke again. Hopefully we'll get light. That would be terrific. Let's see what happens here. Alright, so it seems to be working semi-fine now. As soon as I crank the hand back, I get full brightness, down. Okay, so hopefully it's just because the ground wasn't plugged in. Alright, so update. I've switched the potentiometer, tried it with the batteries, and as it turns out, it didn't work. Then I realized I switched the wrong potentiometer. So I have now switched the right one, plugged in the ground, and now I'm going to plug in the batteries, and if we get smoke, I will not be a happy camper. So, 1 in, 2, 3, still no smoke, still no light. And smoke. Something about this one is different. Alright, well, back to the drawing board. Alright, well, I figured it out. As it turns out, if you heat shrink two exposed pieces of wiring together, it creates a short circuit and fries anything you put in its path. So, I'll show you what I've done here. I had to dismantle a whole portion of this, but right in here, those two wires, this back guy and this one here, were in contact right where the metal is exposed. So I've separated them. I'm covering them in electrical tape, and hopefully, I know that will fix the problem. As you can see, if I touch that together, we got light over here now. So it fried about 4 or 5 of my electrical components, but I have backups, so it shouldn't take too long to redo. And the other thing that this is actually kind of a benefit that I did was originally the wiring was set up so that the batteries that powered the lighting was totally not involved with the microcontroller, the Arduino. And now I'm actually going to, I realized I didn't have to limit myself to doing that. I can route a transistor, which is a switch, so it controls whether or not current is allowed to pass through or not. And I can control that with the Arduino. My plan is to route a wire all the way down the length of the arm with the other wires, and that will allow me to control both if the if the repulsor is on and its brightness. So I can do that all now, controlled with the same potentiometer that is still survived. So this is good news, a little bit more work, but at the same time it's kind of beneficial. Next step, I've got a bunch of network cable here. Because of the revisions I'm making to the repulsor and running the cable down the arm, I've got to use more cable. So if you cut network typical or standard Ethernet cable open, now this is a cheaper version, but try not to slice your fingers off. When you peel back the outer coating, you'll find 8 wires inside, coiled in sets of 2, and a central divider that keeps them isolated from each other. So as you can see, there's orange, green, blue, and brown. I'm going to use, I don't know which colors yet, it doesn't really matter, as long as I keep track of which ones are connected to which. I'll be able to use these to power the repulsors and the speaker in each hand. So got a little bit more work to do. I'm going to show you how the repulsor works. The repulsors are on Iron Man's hands. It's his main weapon. And to build these, I combined a bunch of different components. So starting with, I've got 6 ultra bright LEDs on here, as well as they're mounted on top of a speaker, an 8-ohm speaker. There are 4 AA batteries, and those are wired up through the side here and all the way back, which lead down to the Arduino. So the Arduino is a microcontroller, very inexpensive and easy to program, and I've just wired them all into different ports. I did a simple code, and to test it, so what happens is as I recline the hand backwards, the pitch of from the speaker is going to increase, the lights are going to get brighter, and then it's going to blast. So it's an instant decrease of brightness and sound. So you might hear it going as I put it on, but once we get it, my arm in here, now there will be a glove attached on the end of this when it's all done. But for now, I just wanted to see if I can get the mechanism working. So as I tilt upwards, alright, so I'll show you once more. And that's just caused by these potentiometers, so they get a reading of the amount of current going through, or voltage that is passing through the wires here. So as I increase backwards, it's getting a higher and higher reading until it discharges. And that's it. That's the repulsor. So I got one for each arm. What you can see here is the glove. Haven't finished it yet, but I've just taken off the ribbing, and if you can see, I had wrapped the fingers in thin strips of duct tape so that when I painted them, it created that ribbed effect, and actually turned out pretty nice, just a subtle detail. And I've got the repulsor there in front, so it's starting to look more and more like the suit.